Joe, tell us about Green and Thériault and how they compare in speed and power.
Well, as Robert Peniton pulls him to the center there, you see on the power side, Thériault has the advantage in every category except in the round kick, and Green has a 2% advantage there in the round kick. On speed, Thériault has an advantage in every area: side kick, back kick, round kick, right hand punch, and left hook. So I think Thériault has definitely got the advantage in the power and the speed going into this fight.
There's a close look at the champion. From Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, Jean-Yves Thériault. 6 years he's held the middleweight crown. Now we're going to see if he can hold on to it tonight. And if he does, can he win by his 50th knockout of his brilliant career? Richard Green's his opponent. This one is scheduled for 12 rounds. Our main event here on ESPN in this American Kickboxing Series, the World Middleweight Championship, about to begin. Brad Nessler, Truman Irving, and Joe Corley with you at ringside. We're at the Paul Sauvé Arena here in Montreal. And Richard Green means all business. And so does Jean-Yves Thériault. A good look at both in their corners. You can see the concentration on their faces. 12 rounds or less, and here we go. We're underway. Richard Green on your right. Jean-Yves Thériault, the champion, in the black pants, now facing you. And he comes out with a strong left hand and those straight front kicks that are so effective and have been throughout his career, Truman.
Yes, he is. And Richard Green told us that earlier that he would not be fighting in a straight line. He is fighting in a straight line. If he continues on a straight line, the lights could go out.
He said he'd work from angles, and so far the only angle is straight towards Jean-Yves Thériault, and that's not a very safe place to be. At least that's what most of Jean-Yves' opponents would tell you. Green from Tulsa, Oklahoma, 25 years old. The champion is 31.
Green is throwing front leg and rear leg front kicks, which are effective, and I think will be effective against Jean-Yves Thériault, but he must throw them with much more power than what he's doing now.
Pretty good right hand by Jean-Yves Thériault, the champion. Uppercut that missed, and Green tried to counter with a combination.
Jean-Yves told us earlier today that he would not go out there trying to get a knockout, but if it came, it would.
Thériault is loaded up on the power here in the early going. Green has weathered it pretty well. Dale Cook said that Green was going to use the left jab and use his hands effectively, and that he definitely was not here just to survive. Look at the Thériault power.
Overhand right by Thériault, and then the uppercut. And you could see the head of Green snap back in both occasions.
Green also threw an overhand right just then. He said that he would use the overhead right because he thought it would be effective against Thériault.
Less than a half minute to go here in round one, scheduled for 12. Jean-Yves Thériault backs Green up against the ropes. Now they're back to center ring. 15 seconds and counting down to the end of round one. And Jean-Yves Thériault, the fighting machine.
I believe Jean-Yves Thériault hurt Green with that last right.
The United States middleweight champ, Rick Rufus.
And there's the bell for round two. Truman, Jean-Yves Thériault, the winner of round one. What do you think?
I think I would give the round to him by a slight margin.
Thériault with a big overhand right. Didn't get all of Green, but he comes back with a good combination that does.
And Green comes back with a combination of his own. They're both picking up the speed right now.
I haven't seen a whole lot of people weather those kinds of combinations that Thériault just hit him with the exception of Bob Thurman. Thurman caught a number of those before his eye closed in their bout.
Boy, 3 strong rights and some body shots and an uppercut for good measure. He's throwing everything at Richard Green right now.
Well, I think he caught Richard Green's attention on that 3-shot flurry. Green backed up to the ropes, which showed me that he was a little bit hurt.
Thériault blocked both of those punches with the elbows. Comes right back on the offense.
Richard Green is showing us very little movement, which makes him a very big and stationary target for Thériault.
Jean-Yves with a spinning back kick that only comes up on the side of Green. There's a big overhand right. Green's in trouble, and down he goes. That overhand right is the one that started Green on his way to the canvas. And now the count. He beats the count. Robert Peniton asks him if he wants to continue, and he says yes.
And again, Green walks straight in and shows little movement, very little movement.
So Richard Green's already been down in round 2, and it looks like he very well may go again. Jean-Yves Thériault on the attack.
Thériault throws everything so hard, so powerfully. You just cannot prepare for that kind of power. Everything from the front leg front kick to the jab of Thériault lands like most fighters' right hands land.
Coming down to the end of round 2, it looks like Green's going to make it, but he's wobbly in the corner. He almost went down again. The referee's going to have to help him back to this corner. And this one could be over in a hurry if Thériault comes out quickly in round 3. Let's take a look for round 2 at some of the action, and it was all in Jean-Yves Thériault's favor.
As we look at the big miss by Green, Thériault lands with a series of punches.
That right hand, the one that got him ducking in the wrong direction, and then Thériault follow with a left that finished it.
I think this was all brought about because of the lack of movement again by Richard Green. He was a stationary target.
A few years ago, I saw Green stop in a fight against Ray McCallum, who didn't put on nearly the kind of pressure that Thériault puts on. It's going to be interesting to see how much heart Green will have in this round. He's going to have to really dig down because Thériault is after knockout number 50. There's no doubt in my mind.
And round 3 begins, and let's see if Jean-Yves Thériault goes in for the kill. He has won 49 of his 53 fights by knockout. Number 50 could be Richard Green if Richard can't find himself and somehow be able to ward off the champion.
Richard Green just threw a left-right combination that was very effective. It backed Thériault up for just a second.
That round kick slowed Thériault only momentarily. There's a big lead left. A jab that almost knocked Green down.
I think you see some of the fight going out of Richard Green at this point.
Green is definitely hurt right now.
But he just landed a powerful right hand of his own.
One more Thériault combination, and Green might be on the canvas again.
Let's go.
Warning to keep the kicks up to both fighters.
Richard Green is not throwing the front leg kicks that he said he would throw in the preliminary interviews. He is also not throwing that rear leg kick with any power, which is what he needs to do in order to back Jean-Yves Thériault off of him.
Thériault just connected with another uppercut, but Green's fighting back. Game competitor trying to hang in with a world champion. But Thériault backs Green up near his own corner and goes back to work. Thériault with a couple of front kicks just as a measurement device, it almost seems.
You see Thériault feigning Richard Green, and I think he's getting ready to unload on an uppercut and a right hand. He's feigning him, trying to get him to go down. To bend at the waist.
He's used that one technique a lot tonight. Goes in like he's going to throw the front kick, comes with the right hand on top of it.
There's the uppercut. Just grazed the chin, however, of Green, and Green may weather round 3 as well. It looked at one point like he might not make it.
I think that Richard Green gets through this round. He'll be stronger in the 3rd round because it's bringing back a little bit of his confidence.
End of round 3.
I told her Suzuki invented quad runners for everybody. She said, who cares?
Hey, look, you want her to come out here? You just...
As we're looking at this replay, there's that stiff left hand by Thériault.
The question we asked at the beginning of the round was, what would Richard Green do heart-wise? So far, he has dug down Truman. He has stayed in this fight. He hasn't considered quitting yet. And as we said earlier, everything that Thériault throws is powerful. A jab just snaps his head back like a vicious right hand would have.
Okay, kid, you're ready. Okay, keep it out. Partir, là, lui, là. Laisse tes all back. Ouais, ouais.
Dale Cook and his assistants in Richard Green's corner trying to somehow pump up the Dragon, who heads into round 4 against the world middleweight champion, who's looking to keep that title and has been very, very impressive through 3 rounds. And there's a left hand, and Green goes down again. And if he can't make it to his feet, that'll be number 50 for Jean-Yves Thériault on the knockout list. Green working to his feet.
Okay, you want to go on? Okay, let's go.
At the beginning of that round, we saw a left jab by Green, which is what he told us he would do also. He's not throwing any jabs. He's not doing anything to keep Jean-Yves off.
He's got to start to move away, or Thériault's just going to rip him up. There's the uppercut. Green's been down twice, make it 3 times. The referee sends Thériault to the neutral corner. This one may be over. It is all over.
Dale Cook stopped the fight from the corner.
Career knockout number 50 for the world middleweight champion, Jean-Yves Thériault. His 54th win, his 50th knockout. Quite a milestone and quite a finish to that one. Let's take a look at what went on in the 4th and final round. Pick it up, Truman.
Again, you see Jean-Yves Thériault coming in again with another outstanding performance. His left hand, his right hand, he's just too powerful for anybody in this middleweight division. And from a different angle, we see it again. The uppercut.
Green won't want to see that replay too many times. And though he made it to his feet, he was knocked down again. And Jean-Yves Thériault, the winner again, blows kisses to the crowd here in his home country, where he's been gone almost 2 years from the city of Montreal itself. They're happy to have him back and happy with the way things went in this World Middleweight Championship bout. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the official decision on Jean-Yves Thériault's 54th career win when we return after this word.
À 45 secondes du 4e round, the winner by TKO at 45 seconds of the 4th round, son 50e knockout en carrière, his 50th career knockout. Il est toujours le champion du monde des poids moyens, still the world champion of the middleweight, Jean-Yves Thériault.
Jean-Yves Thériault still the middleweight champion of the world with a knockout of Richard Green in round number 4. And he's with Joe Corley in the ring right now. Joe?
Sweet number 50. How does it feel?
Well, I'm really not satisfied with my performance. I think that was maybe a little bit edgy because it was a long absence from Montreal. The people really know their fight here, and they really expected me to do good. I did what I could, but myself, I think I was a little bit tentative. Maybe not tentative, but I was a little bit open in my fighting position.
Now, you know how many times I've interviewed you after a fight, and will you be happy if you don't get hit and nothing you throw misses?
Well, that's the name of the game, Joe. Don't get hit.
That's when you'll be happy, is that
right? That's all that counts.
Now, speaking of getting hit, the biggest fight in your career was in April, Karate Mania, Bob Thurman. It ended kind of anticlimactically. Jim Abernathy's here. He put that fight on. What are the plans for number 2 with Bob Thurman from the promotional side?
Let me just say, first of all, I'm thrilled to death to be here in Canada with the middleweight champion of the world, Jean-Yves Thériault. Bad to the bone, boxing, karate, no matter what you're talking about. I'll say this. Coming in February, the Canadian fans up here live get to see their champion, the champion of Canada, go head-to-head with Bob Thunder Thurman in a rematch. It's going to be the biggest thing since Karate Mania, and that's coming in April. So be there or be square. Karate is hot.
Okay. All right, well, Jim, always a man of few words. Jean-Yves, what are you thinking about the Bob Thurman rematch?
Well, I think that it's going to be a very good fight. Like you said, it was a little bit anticlimactic, the way it finished. Although I thought that I dominated as a fighter should, but Bob Thurman was not satisfied, and the fans weren't satisfied. And, you know, I really wasn't satisfied. I wanted to go 10 or 12 and really outpoint him. Believe me, it's going to be one hell of a fight.
So that fight is scheduled for February. You said earlier, if you won tonight, you'd want to get one more fight before Thurman. Who have you got in mind, say, in December?
Well, I don't know that I have anybody in mind. I'd like to face an opponent that maybe is similar to Bob Thurman. But that man, whoever is going to be the next guy, that's the guy I'm going to be concentrating on. And when Thurman comes around the second time, well, I'll think about him. But for now, I'm going to savor my victory of tonight and go back to training tomorrow.
If Jean-Yves Thériault were a piece of clothing or furniture, you'd say he was classically understated, wouldn't you, Brad?
You definitely would, Joe. The champion still, Jean-Yves Thériault, winner. 45 seconds into round 4 with yet another knockout. It was victory number 54 and knockout number 50. We'll have more from Montreal after this word.